Jack are really close. I think you both have good ones. I might pick yours over his.
I did like mine. I really did. Oh, Steve's in here.
Because I honestly didn't. I don't love Lost Boys. I didn't love Gremlins. Poltergeist was okay.
And Dave would do anything.
I honestly didn't. I don't love Lost Boys.
You just heard yourself talk for a second because I was checking out, make sure the link was working.
I was wondering who sounds so amazing on the.
It did sound fantastic, right? It sounded so crystal clear.
Crystal clear.
Crystal. And Dave would do anything for love. It's live now. They got me singing Meatloaf live. It's a free concert. Best concert you'll get in 2020, that's for sure.
That's true. It's free too.
Sure is. Everything on Crossing State Lines, you guys get for free.
Free entertainment.
Mental anguish, we pay for it.
That's for the fans.
That's for the fans. Yep. It's gonna be an interesting one. Like I said in the tweet, 90s is a real interesting decade for horror movies. Ken said, sounding good boys with a Z. Ken Brandon will be on in 2 Shakes of a Lamb's Tail. So,
whatever that means.
That's real quick. What, Emily? Yeah, it's a phrase. 2 Shakes of a Lamb's Tail. Okay. Ken, because when I asked Ken what decade he wanted to do, he did not take the 90s for that explicit reason, that the 90s is a very strange decade for horror movies. It sure is, Ken. It sure is. But there's still a lot of good ones, and I'm excited for Dave to take New Nightmare #1. I know that if any of my family members had Twitters, they would vote for me if I took Tremors, because we quote Tremors a lot in my family.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I actually genuinely love Tremors. I think Tremors is a good movie, actually. You ever seen it?
I have not seen it.
You haven't seen Tremors? Are you kidding me, bro? Tremors is fantastic.
So if I take Tremors, do I get the Morocco family vote?
Oh, absolutely. Well, if they had Twitter, you might. But
yeah, but I get the family vote.
Sure. Ken said, "Yikes!" I sure hope Ken's not talking about Tremors, because Tremors is a great movie. This is the same person. Oh boy, I gotta say, Ken? What was the yikes referring to in that case? I'm waiting with bated breath to see what he's gonna say. I'm so anxious. I mean, we're live, but we're not recording it yet. So this is just for the viewers, really. This is a little pre-show preview. The waiting for Brandon portion of the show.
What do you like better, Jake? The 2010s or the 2000s?
For horror?
Yeah.
Well, I haven't done a lot of research yet. So just off the dome.
I put together a rough list. I actually think when you look at it, the 2010s is better.
I would probably lean the 2000s. I think the 2000s is kind of like the 70s, where it's kind of more top heavy. Yeah, Ken said 2000s. Oh, Ken was talking about New Nightmare. Yeah, no, we're joking about New Nightmare. I know you're not a Freddy guy. The 2010s does have some really good ones. That's Ken did choose the 2000s, so we'll be talking about. That's a good plug. Next Tuesday, we're doing this with Ken. Literally a week from now, we'll be doing this with Ken. For the 2000s, and then the 2010s. We're doing 2 next week. Next week we'll be doing the 2010s with Olivia Peralt. That'll be a fun time. But there's some really good ones in the 2010s too. But just off the top, like I'm trying to think. I know I don't want to give Ken too much scouting film here. But if I have the #1 pick next week, I'm very strongly considering The Strangers with the #1 pick.
Really, with the #1 pick?
I think it's one of the best horror movies ever made.
I don't know about that.
I think so. I think it is. Why? What would be your #1? Saw? Because Saw is the obvious answer.
I mean, I love Saw. I think that was so great for when it came out. I think it was just, to me, it was one of my favorites. It was one of the first movies I saw that got me into horror.
Is that a pun?
Yeah, exactly. I slid that in there.
You're gonna take Hostel too? I know you're a big Hostel right? Those movies are gross, dude. I mean, Saw is also disgusting, but
like the first Hostel is bad, like as far as like gruesome and gory and stuff. But then the next two are literally just disgusting, like horrible movies.
Ken says, "Don't you do me dirty." I'm assuming he also likes The Strangers. If that's how I'm reading that, I don't know how you can't like The Strangers. I think The Strangers is one of the like best horror movies I've ever seen. In terms of how it scared me,
I watched the other day because I think it was you were talking on Twitter with someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, The Strangers. That was such a good movie. I'm going to have to watch that. The sequel's on Amazon.
Yeah, I'm all set.
Actually, it wasn't horrible.
I'm all set. Thank you, though.
But that's all I said.
I'd like to limit my knowledge of The Strangers to just that, for the record. Just that one movie. I don't think I need Pray at Night.
It wasn't horrible, but that's all I can say about it.
That's actually a pretty good review for a horror movie. But yeah, Ken says meh, not amazing. That's fine. I'm not going to say maybe if I'm really bored one night. But probably.
The one thing about it is it is free when you have Amazon Prime. So I mean,
so technically I'm paying for it, but
yeah, but you pay up front.
That's fair.
Just think, the more movies you see, the more your money's worth it.
Yeah, right. I'll just get all that money's worth by watching Psych 40 times.
Until it goes to Peacock or whatever.
Whenever it actually goes over there.
I'm always curious to see when that stuff leaves.
No, I get that.
Like Parks and Rec left this month on
Netflix, right?
Netflix, yeah.
And The Office leaves later this year, but Seinfeld hops right on after that. So
no, I think there's a year difference.
No? Is there? I thought it was this year.
I thought it was a year difference. I thought 2022 was Seinfeld.
I thought it was I thought that's what Netflix was doing, was trying to do that leap, because they were going to lose The Office, so they really wanted to pursue Seinfeld.
I'm not sure. I always thought in my head that it was.
All right.
Seinfeld comes on a year.
I'm doing the randomizer right now.
You got the first pick?
I sure did.
Who got the second pick?
You did.
Okay. I have yet to get the first pick. I got second, third.
That's what's doing it for you. That's why you're not doing well with these.
Honestly, that's probably it. It's nothing to do with my poor drafts.
What was I looking up? It was Seinfeld, Netflix. Costs? I don't even want to think about that. 2021.
In January?
Yep. So you wake up on January 1st, New Year's Day, stretch, Office is gone, but all of Seinfeld is there.
I'm all right with that trade-off.
Jen's big day. Oh, Leprechaun. I didn't even put Leprechaun on the list, to be honest with you.
Oh, Leprechaun's so bad.
Leprechaun is so stupid, dude.
It's so bad. Oh my God. There's 3 of them.
There are unfortunately 3 of them.
I saw Jeepers Creepers.
Oh, this decade, maybe.
Oh yeah, not this decade. I mean in general.
Nah, there were. Hold on, now I gotta look it up. This is a special exclusive for all the fans watching.
There's 3 Leprechauns though, I'm pretty sure.
All right, hold on. All right, yeah, I didn't mean in folklore. I meant, thank you. Nope, there are 8 Leprechaun movies. Are you buckled in? Ready? Are you ready for all of them? So we got Leprechaun, that was 93. Got Leprechaun 2, that was 94.
Okay.
Hold on, wait. I gotta see the tagline for this one. There's a tagline on the poster. Hold on.
Feeling lucky?
No, that would have been smarter. Wow, Jen Aniston didn't come back for the sequel? Really? That's shocking.
How could she? She's way bigger than that.
I can't believe that she didn't respect Leprechaun 2. Hold on, now I gotta figure out what the tagline was for this. Now I'm way too invested. All right, there's a different poster. This so close, Dave. This time luck has nothing to do with it. Yeah.
I knew it was something to do with luck.
All right, so then there's Leprechaun 3, 1995. So they were really humming them at this point. Oh, Brandon's here. What's up, Brandon?
Yo, my apologies.
We're live, FYI. So just so you know,
Okay.
we haven't started recording yet, but we're live. If that makes any sense, we're going over the Leprechaun movies right now.
Oh, what a perfect time to come in.
So we have Leprechaun 3. Hold on, I'm still trying to find this one because I have to read this poster for sure. Then we have Leprechaun 4 in space. One small step for man, one giant leap of terror. That's a good tagline. That's incredible. Then we have Leprechaun in the Hood. And the tagline for that one is Evil's in the House. Yep. Leprechaun 2 Back to the Hood, which is Evil has a whole new rap. Yep. Then we have Leprechaun Origins 2014, and then Leprechaun Returns in 2018. So we have been cranking out Leprechaun movies since
Leprechaun's been busy.
Ken says he wants them in space and into Hood. That would be interesting if we could make that.
Can we also get a crossover Leprechaun and Fast and the Furious in space?
That would be so. I was thinking like how they do the Freddy vs. Jason, like other ones that would be interesting, like Leprechaun versus Chucky or something like that. That'd be a cool one.
Yeah, they should definitely cross over more horror movies.
Like Michael Myers versus like Leatherface or something. I mean, that really wouldn't work. I
They
feel like
do Freddy versus Jason.
yeah, that was like that's the only one they've like ever done. Like they should do more.
It wasn't good.
Ken, too fast, too lucky. That's a good one. I like that. That's clever.
What something that I would love to see? Tell me if this is crazy. It's like a movie series, so it's got the same actors playing the same characters, and like the first movie could be like a comedy, and then they get into some trouble or whatever, which stops being funny and turns into like a horror movie for the second one, which turns into like a drama when it's like the two dudes who survive are like, oh snap, like what do I do now? And it's a series. Every movie is a different genre, like straight up completely. Like the first one's a complete comedy, second one's a complete horror movie, third one's like a complete drama or action movie or something like that.
That'd be interesting. I would see it. That's for sure. I would see it.
But then again, I mean, you could have elements of all three in like any single movie. So could just be like me just shooting in the dark. But
I would watch that. I would do it. I'd star, produce, direct, whatever you want me to do.
I mean, I'd obviously need a plot first and foremost. That's
You know how many horror movies haven't had a plot? You don't need a plot.
Very good
plot. At least if you start with a horror movie, you don't need a plot.
You just need to scare the shit out of people.
It's like put a bunch of teenagers in a cabin and just let it happen. Like that's just kind of how like half the horror movies go anyway.
I watched this horror movie yesterday. I can't even remember what it's called, but it's literally this group of 6 people. And this is literally like the first shot of the movie as soon as it starts. They're driving down this street with no other vehicles in sight, like as far as you can see. And just on the side of the road, either side, there's trees. Their tire explodes. They're stuck in the middle of nowhere. They get out and whatnot, and it turns out there's like a sniper across the street in a random tree, like gutting them down. It was the worst movie I've ever seen in my life, but it was so great. It was amazing.
Like I was gonna joke. That sounds like the plot of Jeepers Creepers. Except it's Jeepers Creepers. So we did the draft randomizer. Ken says it called Lone Wolf.
Nah, I'll find it.
Also, I did the draft randomizer. I have the first pick. Dave has the second pick. You have the wheel pick.
Cool. So I'm picking back to back. Is that it?
Mm-hmm. Which we would on this show we usually rank the first, third, then the second. Like the second pick is the worst one to have usually.
I think so too. I'm cool with the third.
You want back-to-back picks? That's great. You get 2 great movies right there. You get the first pick, you get whatever movie you want. Second pick, come on now. It's a good thing Dave can't hear me.
I can hear you.
I know. Are you cool if we go start recording, Dave?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. Let's do it now. All right, 3, 2. Continuing our month-long series of horror movie drafts by decade here on Crossing State Lines. I am Jake, joined as always by my co-host with the co-most. It's Dave Albiani. Dave, what's good up in Stoneham tonight?
Not much. It's pretty quiet in Stoneham. There's not really ever much that goes on, but that's okay. Just trying to power through my horror movie a day for October. I'm up to 19, so I have to watch one after this, but I've done it every day so far.
Wow. What movie's on the docket tonight?
I'm gonna watch the original Halloween. I think.
It's classic. I've heard
Yeah.
good things.
Yeah, I've heard good things about this guy, Michael Myers. I think his name is. I don't know.
Yes, I heard he was in that movie, The Love Guru. Heard it was classic.
Yes, and Austin Powers. I heard he's the spy who shags me. I don't know.
Yes, he was also in a comedic classic. I think it was Wayne's World or something like that.
No, I think you're misremembering. That's not a
No, I
classic.
don't think I'm misremembering anything. So Dave, we are in the 90s now. We have been pummeled in the 70s and pummeled in the 80s by Rich Keefe and Mac, respectively, of the Dork Podcast and the Mac and Goo Podcast. And in the 90s, we are joined by one of our most frequent collaborators here on the podcast and our former Morocco Maxwell Maliani co-host. It's Brandon Maxwell. Brandon, welcome in.
What up? What up? Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. So the 90s, as I tweeted out today, kind of an identity crisis for horror movies. Really a lot of sequels and a lot of movies that are fringe horror. And we'll obviously get to those when they get selected. But the slasher genre was just an avalanche of really, really underwhelming and disturbing and just straight up terrible sequels. And it wasn't really till the end of the decade that we saw kind of a trend forming on what the next decade of horror might look like. There are definitely some classics, which we'll get to. But I feel like overall it's sort of an underwhelming decade. I'm not sure what you guys think.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like there weren't a lot of horror movies, but there was more scary movies, if that makes sense. And yeah, I also feel like, I don't know, horror movies kind of have their ins and outs. Like they're definitely starting to become better again right now. But like, I think for 15 years before that, we had like terrible horror movies for a minute. But like now there's a lot of indie ones where they can be creative and stuff like that. So I think the genre's getting back to it. But yeah, I think it has like the ebb and flows. 90s was definitely a low point.
Yeah, and like I went through this list. We have a Google Doc of about like 22, 23 movies, and I went through it before it with Dave, and I was like, I think maybe 10 of these to me classify as straight up horror movies. Like
you guys did miss one that I think I'm gonna save to take if you guys don't get to it before me.
Nuts. I mean, hey, if you're playing again, if you want to take Leprechaun, you can. It's fine. I know it's not on the list. If you want to take it, you want to take Leprechaun 2, 3, 4. If you want to make your whole draft Leprechaun movies, we're fine with it.
I was gonna say that's my first 5 picks right there.
We won't stop you. Speaking of picks, we did randomizer live, but not on the podcast. I'm going first. Dave is going second, and Brandon has the wheel pick. He'll be going third, so he'll get the third and fourth pick. It'll snake back. It's a snake draft. Everybody knows how those work. So, Dave, how do you kind of view the 90s for horror movies?
I mean, I think there's some good horror thrillers, and there's obviously like Blair Witch was obviously kind of before its time, and it's one of the first found footage films, which kind of was revolutionary at the time. So that's obviously a big note. And then you have the original It, which was all one movie, not 2 parts. Thankfully, they broke into 2 parts the second time. You have Candyman. You have a bunch of really, really noteworthy films here, but I think this decade really is kind of lacking.
Yeah, and when I was putting out what decades people wanted to do, this was the last one on the table. And I was surprised because I thought the 90s had some more iconic movies, and I was like, well, thinking about it, it really doesn't. So without further ado, we should just dive right into this. So I had the first pick. This was tough for me, thinking it over. I had a few options in mind, really 2 big ones in mind. But if I'm going with a list of movies I want to like watch and I think are more leaning into that horror genre, what?
Okay. Deep Blue Sea? Oh, okay.
Deep Blue Sea is my top pick. I'm going to go Deep Blue Sea. I'm going to go Jacob's Ladder, number 1. No, Arachnophobia. No, Cube. No. I'm going to go Scream. Scream is my number 1 pick. To me, it's the best horror movie of the 90s. Again, depending on how you classify Silence of the Lambs, people do say it's a horror movie, and I get it. There's definitely some horror elements to it, but it's more of a thriller to me. It's more of a suspense thriller, crime drama. Scream is straight up a horror movie. It's a farce of a lot of horror tropes, which is ironic because Wes Craven, who made it, is the purveyor of a lot of those tropes. But Scream is it's a classic. It is a funny story about Scream. I saw it when I was way too young. I was probably like 5 or 6, and somebody had it on the TV. I couldn't look at a ghost face mask for like a decade. And now it's like one of my favorite movies of all time. Yeah, Ken Borders is great straight horror flick. Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it's a slasher. It plays on those horror movie tropes literally at one point with Jamie Kennedy laying out the rules of how to survive a horror movie. But I love Scream. It is one of my favorite movies of all time, let alone horror movies. So when I saw I had the number one pick, I knew Scream was going to be my selection.
Just a fun movie.
Yeah.
I knew you were gonna take Scream.
Yeah. I really didn't know I was going into it. I'm like, do I want to take the better? Because obviously, Silence of the Lambs is a better movie than Scream. Like it won a ton of Oscars and it's critically acclaimed. And people love Scream too, and they also love the movie Scream too. But if I'm in a horror movie draft, I'm gonna lean towards the horror movie, and Scream is a fantastic one. I mean, Wes Craven's the master, so gotta go Scream. Dave.
Well, since it's my pick and you didn't take it, I will take Silence of the Lambs. It's the best movie left on the board. I think, obviously, it has a great case as the number one movie. It won an Oscar for Best Picture. Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor. Jodie Foster won Best Actress. They won Best Director, Best Writing or Screenplay. So, I mean, it really just kind of cleaned up at the awards. It's really good. Anthony Hopkins, this is probably, for me, his best performance. He's so creepy. He's just really, really weird in this, and it just gives you that just really weird vibe, and it kind of sets you into a mood where the whole movie is you're kind of on the edge of your seat, and you're just kind of skeeved out by just the way he talks and the imagery and everything. So,
kind of
yeah.
skeeved out by it.
Well, if you watch a lot of horror movies, it's kind of like second nature at this point.
Even then,
I mean, think about the movies I picked in the 70s.
That is true. You went pretty gruesome in the 70s.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Dave's theater was not exactly family friendly. I mean, none of ours were since the 70s, but
mine was especially bad. Yeah.
Yeah. Yours was pretty distressing. I think Don't Look Now was your most tame film. And yeah, that says a lot. Yeah, it's great, as Ken echoes in the chat there. It's great. I mean, it's definitely more of a thriller suspense movie, but it's definitely got horror elements. It's a horror movie too. So,
and was Anthony Hopkins only in it for like 15 minutes?
Yeah, like something crazy like 17 minutes of screen time or whatever, and won Best Actor for it.
Exactly, and you see how important he was in that movie. I mean, it just goes to show you, you don't need to be in it for the whole entire movie for it to be impactful. I mean, obviously he wasn't. I don't consider him a main character like some people do, but he was obviously significant.
Yeah, and probably one of the best closing lines in movie history with I'd love to chat, but I'm having an old friend for dinner, which is classic. And then also as people know, Dave and I are huge Monk fans, so we got to shout out Ted Levine, of course, as Buffalo.
Yeah.
Who honestly, should have been nominated for an Oscar for this performance. Like, if Anthony Hopkins can win for being in it for 17 minutes, I think Ted Levine should have been nominated at least for it, because he goes all out in this movie.
He goes ball in this.
He does. So Brandon, you have back-to-back picks. I would say the two best movies of the 90s are off the board, but still a lot of great ones out there for you to scoop up.
Oh yeah, I think this is. I think I got two solid ones coming up right here, and I didn't come in with like a list figured out or anything. Obviously, it's a draft, so you can't figure it out too much.
You do have a list we sent, right?
Yeah, I do. But these first two that I'm going with, I think, are just simple horror movie classics across the board. Not even 90s, just classics across the board. This first movie I'm going with is The Blair Witch Project.
Damn.
I just watched it again for, the millionth time. I think it was like 2 days ago. And I don't even know what it is about that movie. It's like, I love the movie because I think it's very iconic, but it's not like it's enjoyable when you're watching it. Like, there's a lot of downtime and like you don't see anything and it's like sticks everywhere and shit like that. So I can understand maybe the hype around it being better than the movie itself, but I really enjoy it. And it also led to like every annoying horror movie today, which, is a blessing and a curse, but it also, you got to give the credit to the movie for just that.
Yeah, and it's definitely the real Kickstarter of that found footage genre. Like, I put on the list, I don't think anyone's going to take it, but The Last Broadcast is kind of the originator of the found footage movie, but Blair Witch Project was the one that perfected it is not the right word, but that
Made
really
it-
brought it to the main.
Yeah, exactly. And also, they had the actors like laying low for a bit when the movie was first dropping. Like, a lot of people thought it was real, and I wish that I was able to see it around that time. Obviously, I don't really remember anything about it. I think it was like 4 when it came out, 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So I wish I got to experience it in that way, but it's just an iconic movie. Easy choice for me.
Yeah.
I really do love Scream and Silence of the Lambs, but I think I still might have picked this number 1 even.
Yeah, I mean it's great, and it had, like you said, one of the first viral marketing campaigns ever.
Oh yeah.
And people really thought it happened. And I think just touching before you move on, just touching on why it is such a scary movie. And I there are people out there who think it's overrated and don't think it's as scary. I don't agree. I think it's a great movie, and I think it's very scary because it's one of those movies where it passes the broad daylight test for me, where I've watched it in broad daylight and it's still scared me to death. Just scared the living hell out of me. I think it's just because of how real it feels, because it's filmed on a camera by real people, and it's terrifying. I mean, you don't know, you're lost in the woods, you don't know where you're going. You have this legend, you're paranoid, your friend's lost. Like, it is a truly terrifying thing to watch.
And you never see what's supposedly attacking them. You never see it.
Yeah, it's like Jaws for the most. Yeah,
like I love that that's the case, because if they showed a witch, it would probably, I mean, it wouldn't live up to expectations, I don't think, especially kind of after the way they talked about it. Like, she's like a floating lady and all that and whatnot. Like, that could be really hard to make look cool in a movie. But it's also just cool that, like, the directors, they would hide at night while they were in their tents, like making random noises and like leaving things outside of the tent. So it was kind of like while they were acting it, they were experiencing it. So yeah, I just think all the things, including the behind the scenes with it, that alone just makes it a good pick for me. So like I said, I would probably pick it number 1 regardless.
I love it. It's a good start.
Thank you. And then for my next pick, another easy one. This is a layup for me. I Know What You Did Last Summer. That's just
wow, I did forget that one.
I thought that's the one you were talking about, Brandon.
I wanted to get it out of the way early just because I was like, someone's gonna know. But that movie is so iconic in and of itself as well. The dude with the hook, and I mean, even though it led to some sequels that weren't really that great,
Every horror franchise.
yeah, I mean, but it was an excellent movie, and it's just when it hits all the check marks for a horror movie in terms of like cool deaths and like you at least some likable characters, even though they did some shitty things. I think it hits all those checkpoints, and you have like a really iconic cast with it too. It's like Jennifer Love Hewitt, Freddie Prinze Jr., Sarah Michelle Gellar, more people than that too. But yeah, easy choice for me.
See, Ken in the chat says interesting. I do think it's an interesting pick, but I do understand where you're coming from. It has like one of the hottest, like, you know, like, well, not one, like plenty of the hottest, like, you know, young adult stars of the time, like Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt, and like a lot of big names. And it's definitely one of those movies that was inspired by Scream. Like, there was a whole wave of movies that came after it, like this, Halloween H20, Final Destination, like a bunch of movies that came out after this that were inspired by Scream almost directly. There's another one that's escaping my mind now that I think of it, but it's still a good one. Like, I remember that hook hand like always stuck with me. I saw it when I was young, probably shouldn't have, and it's always kind of stuck with me. And it's a cool premise of like they committed a crime, they think they got away with it, but somebody knows what they did, and they're not clean, like they're not ethical, they're not trying to, you know, they're not like innocent teenagers, they're you know, criminals essentially, just like on the run. So it puts you in an interesting moral dilemma of, you know, what to root for when you're thinking about what you want to happen. So I like it. It's going to be interesting how I'm fitting that in the graphic, but I will. I'll figure it out. So Dave, you are back up.
This is a tough one for me because there's a few I would like to take here, but I'm gonna take Misery with Kathy Bates and James Caan.
Assuming that's the movie Ken's talking about in the chat.
I'm not sure.
He says still one of the greatest thriller horrors still on the board, so I'm guessing he means Misery. We'll see.
I'm gonna take Misery anyway, though. It's got a 90 on Rotten Tomatoes. Rob Reiner directed it. Kathy Bates, James Caan, Richard Farnsworth. It's a Stephen King adaptation, so it's another one added to the list. You know, there's so many, and I'm sure we'll talk about other ones here. But Kathy Bates is just so creepy, and it's just a really, really good movie. I don't know have you ever seen it?
Misery? Oh yeah.
Okay, yeah.
One of the most gut-wrenching scenes in horror history.
Exactly. And I think overall, what's left on the board, I'm unsure of where I want it to go here, because I know there's one that's probably you're gonna take, and
I think I know what Ken's talking about. He said it's not Misery, so I think I know what he's talking about, and I think I'm gonna take it, but we'll see.
I know exactly which one he's talking about now, but
I think so. I'm gonna save it for the third round just so I can say I got third round value for it.
Of course you will.
Yeah, no, I am. But no, I love Misery. I mean, Kathy Bates won an Oscar for it. She's fantastic. It's a great pick. It's a no-brainer. I mean, I think I know Ken might disagree, but I do think if Misery was still on the board, I was going to take it. So,
I didn't think it would get back to me, so I felt like I had to.
Well, it wasn't, as you just stated. So, anyway, I'm going to take my second round pick, and I'm going to start with a movie I know certainly would not make it to me.
Can I predict which ones you're going to take?
No. Keep it to yourself. Keep it to yourself. And then say it if you get it right.
All right.
If you do. So the first one's Candyman.
I was not expecting that.
I'm taking Candyman. Because I feel like it's probably one of the most underrated horror movies ever made. Tony Todd as the titular character, fantastic. He's great, very menacing. It is, as Dave and I watched it last year, as we ate an incredible amount of Papagenos.
We destroyed so much food.
Ken approves of that pick. Thank you, Ken. Candyman's fan is one of the most disturbing movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, I hate bees, first of all, and there's a lot of them in that movie. I also hate murder, not a good thing. There's a lot of that in the movie too, and it's just such a really terrifying premise. Of, like, Virginia Madsen's like not hunting down, but like trying to find out what's going on with this urban legend of Candyman, and she becomes like possessed. And she ends up killing people, and she ends up in like a psych ward. It is a very unsettling experience. And I know Dave, at least, Brandon, you've seen Candyman, right?
A very long time ago, but I still remember what happens, and it was an awesome movie. I remember that.
I know Dave can at least vouch for when we saw it last year. It was it's one of those movies where you're like, I need to watch something a little lighter to take off the edge. After
we watched Happy Death Day after that.
But we watched Child's Play after that, didn't we?
I thought we watched Child's Play, then...
Yeah, then Happy Death Day.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Lightened the Mood with Happy Death Day. We did.
Yeah.
So Candyman is my second pick, and if this isn't the movie that Ken means afterwards, I have no idea what he's talking about.
I'm pretty sure I know exactly where you're going here.
Would you want to say what it is?
No, I want to say, go ahead.
I'm taking 7.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just so I can say I got it the third round. So... I'm actually stunned that 7 fell to the third round. And I really thought someone was going to take it on the swing. But when I saw that 7 got back to me, I was like, I got to take it. I mean, it's iconic. Unfortunately, one of the actors has not aged well. But we'll just focus on the Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman part. It's got What's in the Box, which is a really, really disturbing scene. Yeah.
I'm so disappointed in myself.
Yeah, well,
I forgot it was. I didn't even. Oh my god, that's one of my favorite movies.
Ken has one more movie above that. I have no idea what he's talking about. Unless Ken's a huge fan of Cube, I have no idea what he's talking about. I mean, I guess maybe it's that one. I'm trying to like hash it out. Maybe I don't think he's talking about that either. Anyway, yeah, I gotta go with 7. Again, it's one of those movies like Silence of the Lambs where it really kind of toes the line, and if it's really a horror movie or not. But I think it definitely is classified as one. I know. Oh my god. Oh, I do know what he's talking about. I don't know how I missed this one. I know exactly what he's talking about. He just told me.
I know exactly which one it is. Yeah. I know exactly which one.
Whatever. It's overrated anyway.
It is overrated.
I know what he's talking about. He's gonna throw a fit now that I said it's overrated, but it kind of is. But yeah, I do think 7's a better movie than that. But it's I think you got to go with it if it's still on the board. So Dave, you're up.
I'll take the exact same movie we're talking about here. I think I'm gonna take The Sixth Sense with Bruce Willis. I'm not like a crazy big fan. I thought it was a good movie, but after the last few drafts where I've been absolutely destroyed and massacred on the polls, I need a movie that everyone's gonna know, everyone likes, it's famous, and I don't want to ruin it because if people haven't seen it, I don't want to give away the ending. But there's a surprise ending. I believe
Is there a surprise ending?
The Ringer just posted an article about the most biggest surprises of TV and movies, and it was on there. But it's a famous movie, and I have to take it because I need the points. I need the votes.
To quote, "It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia." The twist in that movie, the guy in the hairpiece, that's Bruce Willis the whole time. No, but yeah, spoilers. Skip ahead 10 seconds. If you haven't seen The Sixth Sense in 21 years, he could see dead people. And by he, I mean Bruce Willis. No, I'm only kidding. What's his name? Haley Joel Osment.
I honestly didn't think it was that big of a twist either.
I mean, it is. Back then, it was probably an enormous twist, but now it's like, whatever. I'm only kidding, Ken. Like, we retroactively look at M. Night Shyamalan through a lens of he made a lot of garbage movies after like the mid 2000s. But The Sixth Sense, at least standing on its own, is one of the most successful R-rated movies ever made. So the fact that you got in the third round is great. The only thing is, Dave, your lineup is very distressing. Like, hey, you want to sit down and watch Silence of the Lambs, Misery, and The Sixth Sense? My
Your movie, there's a head in a box.
Yeah, at least I have Scream.
And it slices people in half.
Want to take that because what I said.
What are we talking about here? There's a head in a box.
I did watch Seven for the first time last week, and I loved every second of it, even though I already knew everything about the box. Like, it's been ruined for me a million times over, but I thought it was still, amazing. And obviously, it would have hit harder if I didn't know what was in the box and I didn't know the whole entire time. But the way they build up to it and everything, it's perfect. You can see the little traces of it too, and knowing it and being able to recognize that, I think, was a cool viewing experience.
In the box. I mean, it's not funny. It's
What's in the box?
But his delivery it does border on hammy a little bit.
And he just lights him up too. I thought he just shot him once and clip.
He really goes at it. I mean, yeah, he does. And it's cool. It's cool how it's like that is Wrath, and that's him finishing up the 7 deadly sins and all that stuff. But Brandon, you got back-to-back picks. If you want to corner the market on really long movie titles, you can continue to do that.
Well, at this point, I'm almost getting to the end of my actual 90s movies viewing experience. So at a certain point, I'm just going to start throwing some movies at the wall. But right now, I still have 2 that I've seen. So first one here, I'm going with my movie that I watched when I was way too young, which is It. And that movie, oh my God, it screwed me up for a minute. I remember being 4 years old and just thinking about that little kid in the sewer all the time. But I mean, it's still also a classic. And I haven't seen the new ones, but the old ones definitely did a good enough job of.
Don't say that too loud. Ken might throw a fit in the chat.
Why is that?
He hated the second It. I know Ken's gonna be screaming into the ether. Dave and I liked it.
I did like the second.
I know he just threw his laptop across the room. Listen to this, but I'm sorry, Ken. I did like the second It.
The second It was good.
I know this, and I know this will even piss you off more. I saw it twice.
There's so much of it that I don't remember, but the parts that I do remember, those got me.
The first one scared the new one first chapter scared the crap out of me. The second one was also scary, but the first one was way scarier. The original It, I've never actually seen it in its entirety, but I mean, Tim Curry is all you need to know. It's Tim Curry. What else do you have to say? Great as Pennywise, he hams it up to a perfect extent. He's great. Yeah, Ken's losing it. But Ken's the honorary second guest right now, just killing it in the chat. But yeah, so it's a good pick. There's no way to say that without sounding like you're talking about It instead of It. You know what I mean? I also appreciate that you went with I Know You Did Last Summer, and then you went with It as the follow-up. So it's gonna look real cool on the graphic when I put those first 2 and then It. So I like It. I'm gonna take it off the big board. It was on the big board. So what else you got?
Next movie I'm gonna go with is also a fun one. I'm gonna go with Deep Blue Sea.
Oh, thank God! Yes.
And the reason I'm going for it, again, just has so many iconic scenes. Obviously, the first one you think of is Samuel L. Jackson giving his speech and then just getting chopped in half, and in a way that's just completely impossible for a shark to do. But I'll take it. Anyway. He jumps out of the tank and then like kind of crawls back in one motion. But it was awesome to watch. The CGI today is terrible, but at the time, I'm sure that was really awesome. And also, I remember Cool J and like the scene where I think it was like a room that was like electrified or whatever. They couldn't touch the water, and then Cool J makes it at the end with his parrot. Like, just a lot of cool scenes in it. Not really a good movie, but that's what I'm going with.
He's one of the only people that survives the movie.
Yeah, I think is he the only one?
No, I think Ken reminding us Ernest Scared Stupid still on the board. Thank you, Ken. We know.
I might pick that at some point. Thank you. Thank you for the
classic. No, Deep Blue Sea I do like. I watched it for the first time a couple of years ago. It is definitely not the best acted movie.
No way. It's not, yeah.
But I like how like people remember Samuel L. Jackson getting chomped by the shark. People forget that he admitted to eating somebody like right before that.
I forgot that.
He was like, yeah, like some of us died in the avalanche, but like we had to I don't think he ever says we had to eat somebody, but I'm pretty sure that's what was conveyed is that they had to eat somebody. Then he gets eaten himself. The circle of life. But I do like it. I like Deep Blue Sea. You're putting together a fun lineup, if anything else.
That's all I'm trying to do. I just want some fun movies. They don't have to be the best movies. Because when I'm watching a horror movie, that's what I want above all. Like if I'm watching a different type of movie, like obviously I want it to be good above anything. But I don't really care if a horror movie is good as long as it's still fun.
Dave taking the opposite approach. He's taking great movies, like classics. Like if you put all three of our lists so far on a scale, Dave probably has the best movies of any of us. Like these are all home run movies.
Definitely.
But they are not fun experiences. Like The Sixth Sense is probably your most uplifting movie so far. But it is your pick now, Dave. So let's see if you change that.
It's gonna change a little bit here because I'm gonna take the second Scream. I'm gonna take Scream 2.
That is campy. I do like Scream 2. I don't know if I like Scream 2 in the fourth round, but I do like Scream 2.
I like Scream 2 in the fourth round because I'm not sure it would have gotten to me in the fifth round. I'm gonna take it. I like David Arquette as and Nev Campbell. They're both coming back for the new one, which is very exciting because they can build off of the garbage heaps they put forth after that. But to me, it's kind of like the same thing over and over again, but it's still very fun. It's light for a horror movie, and I think it's a good ad. And it's the most important thing here that I've learned as I've gotten beaten down like a drum last two drafts is draft all the big names because people will look by and see it, and I'm hoping to draw some points on that.
Yeah, sure. I got nothing for that. I do love Scream 2. I love Timothy Olyphant. He's great.
He's very good.
Nev Campbell, she's back. Courtney Cox, she's back. David Arquette, back. Almost dies. And then what's her name? The one from Roseanne, Laurie Metcalf, I think her name is. She plays the it's like what's his name's mom, right? Skeet Ulrich's mom.
Debbie Salt, Mrs. Loomis.
Yeah, Mrs. Loomis, right? What's his name's mom? What's the kid's name? I'm forgetting his name.
Which kid?
Billy, right? That's the one that is the killer in the first. Well, one of the killers in the first movie.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
And that's whatever. What's Matthew Lillard's character? And I forget that. I drafted the movie first overall, and I don't know this off the top of my head. Stu and Billy are the killers in that. Spoiler: if you've never seen Scream, that's what happened. That was another reason why Scream was great. 2 killers, not 1. 2. I was going to Google something that I can't remember what it was. But yeah, Scream 2 is a good pick. I do like Scream 2. Is Scream 2 your second favorite Scream movie, or is Scream 3 or 4 your second favorite Scream movie? I heard Scream 3 is terrible. Never seen Scream 3.
Yeah, Scream 3 isn't good. I didn't love Scream 4. I think it's 1, 2, 4, 3.
That sounds right. I heard Scream 4 is actually not terrible.
The second one's the only one other than the first one that I remember. Like, I don't even remember the last 2.
I don't love Courtney Cox in it, though, either.
Wait, is it the fourth one like a newer movie?
Yeah, it's like 2011, I think.
Oh, that's right. I just remember that.
Every 7 years.
Yeah, I did not see that.
Yep.
Pick that one.
Yep. All right. So I'm going to go first. So I'm kind of torn on what I want my second pick to be. Elena, Ken's fiance, says Scream 3 is garbage. Yes. I believe Kevin Williamson, the screenwriter, was not a part of that one. So that's one big reason why it was not very good. So I'm a little stuck on my second pick. So I'm just going to start off with my first one. I'm gonna keep my theme going of one-word movies. I'm going to take Blade next.
Damn.
I love Blade. Blade's great. Blade is one of the original great comic book movie adaptations. And it is definitely a horror movie. You have vampires, you have killing, you have slaying, you have biting, and all this like really, really bad CGI and really bad acting. But it is a bona fide classic. Blade 2 might be better, but I think Blade is still incredible. So I gotta go with Blade. That inserts a little more fun into the lineup. Got a little Wesley Snipes out there.
Can't wait to see Mahershala Ali as Blade.
Oh, it's gonna be great in 2028 when they finally release movies again. It's gonna be awesome. So my next pick, unless you guys want to riff on Blade for a second, while I think.
I mean,
no, I don't want to give you the extra time.
It's just a fun movie.
I know you're struggling, so
I'm struggling.
I have one that I really want, but if you take it, I'm gonna be a little disappointed.
Damn. See, this is tough.
Take Jacob's Ladder. It has your name in it.
I don't think I barely even know the plot of Jacob's Ladder, let alone enough to explain what Jacob's Ladder is. Oh my god, dude, this is tough. I know I won't get Ken's vote if I take New Nightmare, so I'm not taking that. So you know what? Since Dave took Beetlejuice and set the stage for this,
I figured you were taking this
ridiculous manipulation of the horror genre, I am going to take The Nightmare Before Christmas.
I figured.
Which is if Beetlejuice is a horror movie, then this is also a horror movie.
Hey,
and I'm getting rid of my trend of one-name movie titles and going with a long one. I mean, The Nightmare Before Christmas. Everybody loves The Nightmare Before Christmas. I mean, Ken says there's 5 amazing movies left. Ken, I disagree.
I think there was 5 amazing movies to start.
Well, when you're taking Scream 2 in the 4th round, we got problems. No, I'm kidding. Scream 2 was on my list. I probably would have taken Scream 2 right now if it was still on the board.
It's gonna get big points in the votes. That's all that matters.
People are gonna not see the 2 part and just think you have Scream.
Exactly. They'll just see Scream and they'll know.
I can't wait for when we're done and we don't pick a bunch of these movies and Ken tells us which ones we missed. I'm vamping as I write down The Nightmare Before Christmas because it's a long title. But yeah, I'm gonna be frank with you. I actually don't like this movie, but
I don't either.
I'm going for the movie. I know people like it, so I'm gonna go for the votes.
That's what I would Beetlejuice.
Emily knows. I actually do like Beetlejuice.
I hate Beetlejuice.
Emily doesn't like Beetlejuice. She just said off air. You might actually be able to hear this mic has good pickup, but
good range.
Very good range. Incredible range. Yeah.
Like Steph Curry.
Like Seth Curry.
Yes, both Currys.
Tired
and Dell and Dad.
Tired Steph Curry, wired Seth Curry. It's like the Galaxy Brain meme where it's like Steph Curry, Seth Curry, Del Curry. Oh, no, Ken doesn't like the fact that Emily doesn't like Beetlejuice. He's not a fan. I said Ken doesn't like the fact you don't like Beetlejuice. Yeah, she gave a thumbs down. So anyway, so that's my back to back. I mean, if you guys just want to stop it now, we can pack it up. We can just end it if you want. I mean, I don't want to feel bad and I might just take a bad movie 6 just to make it more level playing field.
Take Jacob's Ladder. It has your name in it.
I'm not taking Jacob's. Do you want to take Jacob's Ladder? It's still there. They'll be there when it swings back unless Brandon's feeling.
I don't want to rob you of your namesake.
I only put it on the list because I like Tim Robbins. That's about it.
I'm gonna take Ringu. I'm gonna take The Ring, the Japanese version.
That was my other option.
Yep, that's the one I want. I haven't seen this one. I've seen like the 2 American ones, but I have to imagine that it's pretty good. Japanese do a good job with horror movies for whatever reason. They're always the first to it, and then American
rip it off.
Movie makers rip it off. But the first Ring in the United States was absolutely killer, and everyone loved it. And it's still just absolutely transcendent amongst all the other movies.
Talking about that one with Ken, I'm sure next week.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It's funny how, not to cut you off, but like how like they remade The Ring and it was really successful. Naomi Watts, great movie. And they were like, let's do this again with The Grudge, and it sucked. And they were like,
Yeah.
let's do another Grudge remake, and it also sucked.
They made a sequel to The Ring. They made Rings.
That's true. They did make Ring.
And it's Johnny Galecki in it. It's the worst movie.
That's so stupid. Yeah,
It was one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
I feel like you could adapt The Ring for like the streaming age. It's like, I don't know, some like bonus episode of a show that wasn't supposed to be there and you watched it. Like, obviously if you remade it now, it wouldn't even be a DVD. Like, it wouldn't be a Blu-ray. Like, you'd have to think about something else. Because like the only thing outdated about The Ring is the VHS part. Like, that's the only thing.
Exactly. Yeah. It has to be a Blu-ray or like a pay-per-view rental.
What do you think? Because obviously now it would be an iPhone they would call on. Like, what do you think would come up as? Like Samara, or like would it come up as like?
What if it was like a FaceTime?
Death Killer? Like, what would it FaceTime? Could you imagine? It's a FaceTime.
It just crawls out of the screen and attacks you.
Is my camera not in the right way? Is it? Nope. Nope. Can you
It's
hear
just
me?
like on its feet.
Yeah, it's just yeah, exactly.
You gotta flip it around.
But it's a disturbing movie. I've never seen the Japanese version, but as most American things are, probably a shot-for-shot remake. But it's really unsettling how she crawls out of the screen and how it's something you like can't prevent. Also, very well lampooned in Scary Movie 3, a
Oh my
classic.
God. So funny when they make fun of it.
Probably the only Scary Movie I like is Scary Movie 3.
The first one was funny.
First one's all right. Second one's and the third one, I think they hit their peak with Charlie Sheen and that guy that's only ever in Scary Movie.
The beginning of the fourth one was hilarious. When Shaq and Dr. Phil making fun of Saw.
Yeah. I mean, one of those things aged well. The other didn't. Now, if it was now, it'd be Shaq and the General.
Yeah, it would.
It'd be Shaq and the General chopping it up, literally. But yeah, I mean, it's a good pick. In the fifth round, you're getting a classic, so I can't fault you there. Brandon, your last two picks.
Cool. All right. So we're definitely in the territory now of where there's a lot of movies that I haven't seen. But going through this list, I was able to find some that I have seen and some that I necessarily don't like, but I think that they fit well in terms of this list I'm trying to make. So this next one I'm going to go with is, which one am I going to pick here? I'm going to go with The Dentist. And I was looking through a bunch of random lists, and I was like, oh, snap, I've actually seen this one.
I'm sorry.
It's called The Dentist. It's
what's it about?
So it's Corbin Burnson, obviously.
I'm in right there. I'm in.
You got me. I'm hooked.
He's the villain in this though, which is really cool. Like obviously in shit like Psych, he's like the cool dad and whatnot, but he's the villain here. And he's a dentist. Goes home one day on his anniversary, finds his wife's cheating on him, and he just like over time goes on this crazy rampage. And it's like a completely terrible, campy movie. And he's just like killing people with a bunch of dental equipment as well. So like crazy creative kills and that sort of thing. And again, it's also
Watch this now. Like,
yeah, you should. It's a good movie. And again, it's a good movie to watch for a horror. It's not a good movie at all in terms of enjoyment. It's not on the level of Dave's films at all. This movie is really bad, but it's a fun watch. So in my book, it's a good horror movie.
Ken in the chat just says, "What the hell?"
Okay. So
Brandon, let me just give you some advice for the next pick. Pick like a mainstream movie. That's how you get the votes here.
I
appreciate just sending it. First of all, the first thing that autofilled was The Dentist 1996 movie, which is weird. Oh, they made a sequel, by the way. I don't know if you saw it.
No, but I saw the first one.
It's called The Dentist 2. What is this? The tagline is "Brace yourself."
That's exactly what tells you what type of movie it is. Like it's so fun. Not on the level of Sleepaway Camp in terms of campiness, but it's close.
The Dentist. I'm trying to see what the Rotten Tomatoes score on this movie is. Let's see.
Speaking of, on your 80s list, did you guys have Sleepaway Camp?
I don't think anyone took it. I think it might have been on the list, but I don't think anyone took it.
That would have been my first pick.
Sleepaway Camp?
100%.
I mean, if you want to talk about twists, that movie has a real twist.
Oh my God. That's one of the most funny movies. Funniest.
Also, The still image of the face too when they reveal it, I'm like, that still sits with me. It's so creepy.
Seriously.
So I'm still trying to open this Rotten Tomatoes link, which is taking forever. But Brandon, if you want to tell us your second pick.
You can take your time.
We're gonna need an answer ASAP.
See, I'm deciding between a couple right now because, like Dave was saying, my last pick, since I went with something so weird with the dentist, I'm definitely gonna go with something more mainstream. And I've got 4 picks here that I haven't seen all of them, but I know they're very iconic horror films. Am I the last pick overall?
No, this is your last pick, but I have the last pick overall.
Okay, cool. I won't say all of them then. So instead, I'm just gonna go with probably one of the more recognizable ones and very consistent with my theme of like very stupid, like fun sort of horror movies. Even though, again, this movie is definitely not good. I'm gonna go with Leprechaun.
Wow.
Oh boy,
he really did it. He really did. I love it.
I mean, it's getting tough here. It's getting tough.
Hey, no one appreciates that more than us.
I don't care if you take this one, Jake, but I was considering Child's Play 2, but
don't worry about it.
Yeah, I'm like that's not really even worth it. And then there were 2 other ones, which I think one of them's in kind of the same category as Leprechaun, and one of them's an actually good horror movie, but I haven't seen it, so not gonna.
We'll have Ken says you're going full heel. I love it. You're probably gonna get a lot of votes just for going full heel. I'm not gonna lie.
We'll see.
I mean, Dave and I have gotten spanked twice already, so why not a third time?
I got 6, then 12, so I'm aiming. I want to get 18%. Let's be real.
Do it.
20 would be a win.
At this point, Dave and I are just angling to beat each other.
Yeah.
I'll be surprised if this gets a good following. I think toward the end it definitely turned in a direction.
You definitely have the most fun lineup.
That's what I was going for, honestly.
Like, this is a thrill ride. Mine is, it takes a bit of a turn with Candyman and Seven. Like, those aren't really like chipper horror movies. And then we got Dave, who is like Scream 2 lightens the mood, and then he goes to The Ring. But Dave, your last pick.
So I'm gonna take a movie. I haven't even seen this movie, but I think I have it on my list to watch this month because I've heard that it's pretty good. I'm gonna take Arachnophobia.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, with Jeff Daniels.
Yeah,
John Goodman's in it. I have not seen this movie, but when I looked it up on Rotten Tomato, it's actually the 4th ranked movie of the decade for horror movies. So
not bad.
I figured I'd give it a shot. Hopefully people have seen it. It's about the fear of spiders, obviously, hence the name. So hopefully this delivers.
That's what I gathered from it. Isn't there another? Oh, that's 8. Is it 8-Legged Freaks?
8-Legged Freaks with David Arquette. That's in the 2000s. I think.
David Arquette.
There's another spider movie out there.
I remember when that movie came out on like VHS, they had like a stand for it at Hollywood Video. It was like the stupidest looking thing ever. I was like, David Arquette is a starring role in this movie. Oh my god!
A very specific era.
So I'm gonna read off my honorable mentions before I pick my last one. So I also had The Last Broadcast, which I've never seen, but I've heard good things about. Sleepy Hollow, it has Johnny Depp, so I just wasn't gonna take it. New Nightmare, that is the Wes Craven Freddy Krueger sequel that sort of kind of gave him the idea for what to do with Scream. Halloween H20, 20 years later, that is the Scream ripoff of the Halloween Scream ripoff. Tremors, which as much as I would love to take, I don't think anybody else likes it other than me. And my family doesn't have Twitter accounts, so they would vote for it, but they wouldn't see it. Jacob's Ladder is on the list. I probably wouldn't take it, though. Cube, actually a good movie. Not going to take it. But
that was actually a pretty good movie, yeah.
Good. It's disturbing, but it's good. Real, if you have claustrophobia, I would not recommend it. And then Bram Stoker's Dracula with Gary Oldman and Keanu Reeves. That also made my list. But I'm going to round it out with From Dusk Till Dawn, the Quentin Tarantino written. I believe Robert Rodriguez directed it and Quentin Tarantino wrote it. It's about vampires and vampire hunters and George Clooney. Tarantino's actually in the movie, but Salma Hayek's also in it. She's great. George Clooney's fantastic. So I feel like getting From Dusk Till Dawn with the last overall pick is Mr. Irrelevant. I feel good. I feel good with that pick. I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. I have seen parts of it, though.
I mean, I haven't seen it either. My last pick, So the other stupid movie that I was thinking of throwing in there was Jack Frost, and then
She says that the one with no, that's not. I keep getting that mixed up with the one with Michael Keaton.
yeah, there's like one that's like very wholesome and one where it's just like a killer.
Yeah.
And then the other two movies that I know are good just from hearing about them, but I haven't seen, Alien 3 and Army of Darkness.
I forgot Army of Darkness in the 90s. That's a good. That's one that. Yeah. I think Ken's talking about either Army of Darkness or From Dusk Till Dawn. I think he's talking about Army of Darkness. Yeah. What was the other one? You said Army of Darkness, and what was the other one?
Alien 3.
Alien. Oh yeah, Alien 3. I didn't want to go anywhere near that one.
That's a heap.
That movie's a whole bucket of stank. Alien had one movie like every decade starting in the 70s. They had a classic, another classic, not a good movie, and an absolute irredeemable dumpster fire in the 2000s with Alien Resurrection. So maybe Ken will take that one. I know Ken's a big fan of Alien Resurrection as he screams to himself silently. But anyway, so Ken's honorable mentions also included The Faculty with I think that's with Skeet Ulrich. I think he's in that movie. Urban Legend, never seen it. I know like Goo and that whole crew, they like love Urban Legend, and I've never seen it. I know that's the one with like Jared Leto is in that movie. Tales from the Hood.
Oh snap! I thought about that for a second.
That's true. The People Under the Stairs. I saw that doing our research. I've never seen it though. Army of Darkness, like you said, and I will say this one I totally forgot about is Idle Hands.
Oh, I'm pissed. I forgot that now. I'm so
Idle
mad.
Hands. I forgot about that one. That's a good one. That is a good pick.
I would
like Seth Green and shit. Oh, I love that movie.
I 100% would have picked it.
It is so stupid. It's such a stupid idea.
Man, I'm pissed now.
Ken says we missed so many movies. Caps on the so. Ken, if we missed so many movies, maybe you should have done the 90s. That's my recommendation. But instead, you'll be doing the 2000s, so you can come and either school us or get schooled. The way these guests have been performing, we'll probably just keep getting our asses kicked through the rest of the month. Our own
about my time now.
Our own personal horror movie. What was it?
I'm feeling good about my list this time.
Thank you. That's a good segue. Let me reread the list before we conclude here. So I have Scream, Candyman, Seven, Blade, The Nightmare Before Christmas, and From Dusk Till Dawn. Dave, you have Silence of the Lambs, Misery, Sixth Sense, Scream 2, Ringu, and Arachnophobia. Brandon, you have The Blair Witch Project. I know what you did last summer. It, Deep Blue Sea, The Dentist, and Leprechaun. Hey, Ken, give us a snap straw poll reaction here. What's your favorite lineup? So I'll say this, Brandon, yours is definitely the most fun to watch for sure. It is a little bit long, obviously, but I mean, you've got some pretty fun. I mean, yeah, Blair Witch is definitely a scary movie, but you got some fun ones after that.
You know, I'm just trying to get enjoyable watches. I am really mad at myself about Idle Hands though, because I definitely 1,000% would have picked that over Leprechaun. Yeah. Like Leprechaun was just a Hail Mary pick.
Yeah. I'm actually pissed. I forgot about Idle Hands. I'm so mad now.
Yeah, like I totally would have done that. But yeah, I didn't go for good movies in the slightest. I went for just a fun watching experience.
And then Dave, you probably have critically the best lineup. Like these are really critically acclaimed. And like Scream 2 is probably your worst review movie, and that's at like probably like an 80-something%. So Ken's snap poll, me, Dave, and Brandon. Thank you, Ken. Ken's review is that Brandon is fun, but Jake's got all amazing flicks. Thank you very much. And Dave is a close second, though, to be honest. He says, TBH, though, Dave is close second.
I'll take it.
I do love all these lineups. I'm very jealous that Brandon's lineup is so enjoyable. Like, I know, like, horror movies aren't supposed to be a thrill, like a laugh riot, but you do have probably the most, like, palate cleansing, relaxing lineup of movies.
I was trying to go with other ones that I've seen as well. And yeah, there's just so many from the 90s I haven't seen. When I was thinking about it afterward, I've seen a lot of 80s horror movies. I've seen a ton of O's and 10s, but like 90s is definitely a blind spot. But the ones that I picked, I do think, like I said, just a fun experience. So I'm cool with my list.
What is your personal favorite from your list, Blair Witch?
Remind me of my list again.
Blair Witch, I know what you did last summer. It, Deep Blue Sea, The Dentist, and Leprechaun.
Yeah.
If you had to go watch one right now, which one would you watch?
If I had to watch one right now, it would definitely be I Know What You Did Last Summer.
I actually agree. I haven't seen that movie in so long. I want to go back and watch that movie. It's been
That's a really fun movie. But my favorite one, yeah, I would say it's probably like a tie between I Know What You Did Last Summer and Blair Witch Project. I do think Blair Witch Project overall I would probably say is a better movie. But like again, as far as like just throw on any horror movie sort of thing, I feel like I Know What You Did Last Summer just hits all the elements.
Dave, what about you? What's your favorite movie that you drafted? Like, if you had to go watch one of these right now, which one would you pick?
I love Silence of the Lambs. I just think it's so good watching it. I'm trying to think. I don't think anything else would be that close. Like Scream 2, I probably wouldn't watch. Arachnophobia. I mean, I like Arachno. I would watch Arachnophobia because I haven't seen it.
That's true. I would say my two favorites on my list are probably Scream and Blade. Like Candyman and Seven are great movies, but like they're not ones I'm itching to rewatch. From Dusk Till Dawn, Night Before Christmas, whatever. But Blade and Scream Blade is genuinely like it has some scary moments in it. But Scream, I think if I had to pick one, yeah. If I had to watch one right now, it would probably be either Scream or Night Before Christmas, just because it's late and all these movies scare the living hell out of me. So I'm not gonna probably sit alone and watch Seven or Candyman. Just chilling.
Seven is so good. I'm so mad I missed that.
It's a good movie. And I just watched it, like I said, for the first time last week, so everything's fresh in my head still. And I've been thinking about it since I watched it. Like it is a great movie.
It's tough. It's a watch for sure. But anyway, that is it for the 90s. The poll will go up in a couple of days. Brandon, thank you so much for joining us. Where can we find you?
Emax15.
That's right. Go follow him on Twitter. Still Brand Don't Breathe on Me Maxwell. Still an incredible username.
Until further notice.
What was it?
I said until further notice.
That's right. It's incredible. Go check him out there. Dave, where can we find you?
You can find me at David_Albiani.
I'm at Jacob_Morocco. The podcast is at CSL Podcast on Twitter. You can go find our writing on CSLpodcast.com. Dave did a World Series preview, which is going on. The game's going on right now, game 1, but go check out his insights over there on CSLpodcast.com. We got a Jeopardy coming out tomorrow, and next week we have our 2 episodes. We got 2000s with MC Ken B, JKLOL, and we got Olivia Peralt coming on for the 2010s. So keep it locked, and we'll see you guys tomorrow and next week. Let me end the broadcast so we're good to go.